The following live stream may include adult language and themes. How could we know for sure? It hasn't happened yet. Anyway, viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of track 3 of Tabletop Turntable Wanderhome. How's everybody feeling tonight?
Cozy.
Cozy is good.
Yes.
Cozy.
Yeah.
Sipping
I feel
on
extravagant today.
extravagant. Oh, I love that.
Extravagant is nice.
Sipping on some warm tea. Have a nice piece of pumpkin cake nearby.
Showing off our merch.
Showing off our merch.
Yeah.
That
Just-
still exists. You should go buy some.
Oh, can we
Great
get a
Christmas
present?
present.
Brimstone fleece blanket? Cause
Oh my
that
gosh.
would be just darling, wouldn't it?
Let me email Chris and see what I can do.
If you were just joining us, we are playing a game called Wanderhome. It is a pastoral cozy game. It is no masters, no dice, although, full disclosure, I'm sort of filling in that role. What the Wanderhome rulebook refers to as a guide, who is here with a party, and we are going on a journey. This is not a game about combat. This is not a game about solving the world's problems or halting an apocalypse. It's a game about just kind of going on a road trip with your homies and discovering the world around you and meeting its people. I am joined by 5. Oh my God, there are 5 of you. 5 of my very favorite people to play with. We've got Anthony, Caleb, Emily, James, and Meg. Why don't we reintroduce the characters, and then we can do a brief little recap of how this group came together, and then I think we just dive right in and get to the first stop on our journey. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. I think there was an order that we had last time, and I think I will go back to that order. We don't remember the order, do we?
No,
That's
not at all.
okay. Let's start with you, James.
Oh, okay, great. I am playing Renaud de Fox. He is a veteran, which is a playbook from the game. A former soldier who now works in an inn, helping the innkeeper out, trying to put his violent past behind him.
Okay. Anthony.
I am playing Percy Took. I'm a little squirrel. I'm playing the Vagabond playbook, so I am a little wily squirrel who likes to play cards, who finds myself places I shouldn't be, and just a little squirrely guy. Gets into lots of trouble,
Like you do.
Love it.
like you do.
Meg.
I'm Meg, and I'm playing Contessa, who is a hedgehog shepherd of a flock of bumbles. And they're very cute.
Caleb.
What's up? I'm playing Viren Shadowpaw, the tiger. I'm doing the Exile playbook. He's very mysterious, has a very dark, very mysterious past that he doesn't really talk about. Maybe we'll dive into that. Maybe. Who knows?
Intrigue. Ooh.
Mystery.
Mystery.
All right, bring us home, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm playing Gwyn Featherfoot. She is a Barn Owl Firelight playbook. She's got a little firefly companion who may or may not be undead. Who knows?
Only time will tell. Or maybe the Grim Reaper.
Maybe.
So long as he's good with the bumbles, I could not care less.
For sure. For sure. They get
We all
along
been there before.
swimmingly.
Lovely, lovely. Well, how do we feel about taking a crack at telling the story of how we, the party, came to be?
That was it.
Everybody feel good?
That was
Sounds good.
I think
We kinda already
honestly,
touched
if somebody, if it's like, yeah, I think if as long as somebody has a really firm idea of where to start, then you'll be fine. I will let you decide that, though. You guys can decide your own order. One of the few rules with Wanderhome, as we're kind of exploring the world, is certain sequences kind of do have an order where we sort of take turns filling in these details, and then there is space in between for vignettes to meet NPCs and build the world out. So you all can determine your order and tell us the story of this party and how it came to be on this journey together. Not everybody speak at once.
It's a little nerve-wracking, Michael, a little bit.
We could each probably attest to how we ended up in the group last year. Who promised to reconvene? Like, what was your night like that night?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I think telling the story through the specific experience of each character is a great idea.
So this time last year, I one of the Bumbles, I forget, Belladonna maybe, or no, that was a different escape. I can't remember. It was probably Barry. I want to say it was Barry. He got away from me, and as I was tracking him down, I saw him playing with some new friends, and those friends were Kindle and Gwyn, and that's how we met. And so when I saw them later at the festivities, one thing led to another, and I think we ended up playing cards. And then Renard was so funny. He thought we were being cheated at cards. And I don't know, the night's kind of a blur, but there was a lot of merriment, and we all agreed that we would reconvene here again this year.
There was cards. There
And
was
this this time maybe someone will beat you at cards, Percy.
Maybe. Maybe. There was cards and there was cheating, and Reynard caught me. But to my defense, it's not me. It might be the magical deck of cards that I play with. I can't control them. It's not my fault that they often play in my favor.
Often?
Or every time.
Not every time, though. That's the catch with the cards, is that they don't always let me win, and I don't always know when that's going to happen. And I'm not always really good at cards, so...
Sneaky cards.
Sneaky cards.
Well,
sneaky
that's
cards.
it does in fact make them even sneakier, because if you were just winning all the time, 100%, you never lost, that would attract more attention.
It's true. Well, and the cards know. The cards know who they're playing against. They have a good conscience. So when I meet good people, like all of my new friends, they don't let me take advantage of you, and they didn't. Ah.
That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
Sentient
My
playing
deck of cards
cards.
is my conscience.
They're a little Robin Hood. They're a little Robin Hood.
Is that how you judge characters? You play cards with them, and then if you win, you know they're bad. If you lose, they're fine.
Yeah.
Wait, this is amazing. This
That's
is an
awesome.
amazing plot line that's happening right now.
That's phenomenal.
It's a great bit of lore. I don't
Yeah.
disagree.
Do the cards ever get mad at you for some reason and just like let you down?
On purpose. Like, no, you haven't learned your lesson yet.
I see.
I'm not letting you win until you apologize.
I imagine they do that in the form of like it's his turn to deal and he cannot fucking shuffle them. Like they just will not shuffle.
Absolutely.
It's so funny because I just watched The Black Cauldron and I'm reminded of Fluter's lute. Every time he lies, one of the strings breaks. So that's kind of imagined as anytime Percy fucks up, the guards are like, man, I'm gonna make you look like a fool.
And they do.
I'm telling you, YouTube, somebody out there, animate this mess. Let's go.
This would be such a good little cozy animation, though, too. This entire.
Well, we have to actually write it first.
That's true. That's true. In my head, it's really good.
Already, yes, I can
Already.
just tell.
Oh, who's next?
You know, Percy, I think I remember offering to buy you a drink after you got into a bit of trouble that night. You know, you were a bit low on money. I was just kind of minding my own business, but you know, you seemed like you had a good spirit, and I was gonna continue to mind my business after that when Gwen's little firefly friend kept nudging me and wouldn't leave me alone, and I guess I just kind of stuck around after that.
I just do not know why Kindle takes such a liking to you.
I don't get it either. But
Ouch.
he's just
I get it, but I don't get it. Something
perhaps
has
it's
to-
something inside. Maybe it's a soul thing.
Perhaps.
A soul thing?
I don't know. I've heard tales of creatures being able to read other people's souls. It's very interesting. I don't know too much about it. Kendall seems like one of those creatures.
Maybe he sat in some firefly poop, says one of the drunken beavers at the bar.
Perhaps he did.
Maybe. Time will tell.
Does Kindle poop?
These are the important questions.
Anything
Not-
that eats poops.
I don't
Finally
know.
somebody
Oh,
Does
right?
Kindle,
The
does
Kindle
Kindle even
eat.
eat?
I've never seen him before. The wisp eats sometimes.
Don't hurt yourself now.
I'll be fine. Just let me think.
Just take another drink. Cheers.
Nod, you say what happened. You tell it.
Well, I was working in the inn that evening, and the innkeeper Ogden had told me before that he was only going to be in charge of the inn for another year, and so I had a year to find new employment opportunities. And so it was that I came across all of these fine folks who were enjoying the festivities, and they had made plans to reunite after a year. So I said, why don't I join you? Go on the road, find my fortune. And here we are,
And here
1
we
year
are.
later.
Tonight, the grand closing of the
Oh,
inn.
no, I get the feeling it's just changing management. And like,
Yes, there's a new
I
owner,
would normally
owner
be
taking
really
over.
upset. My
Did you-
instinct is to be really upset and like start a
That's-
protest and all this stuff, but
Just my
that's not
understanding.
feasible because this is the reason he can leave with us. So I'm gonna.
I have this special connection with Ogden, the innkeeper. It may be too far to say he saved me, but without him, I do not have a place here.
There's many ways that someone can save you.
It's true.
I have it on good authority that one of Ogden's old friends is actually buying the place from him.
Oh,
Good.
Hmm.
And Deirdre's staying. She's the stable master.
Which is by
Oh.
that.
It's a posting in, don't you know? That's
think I
why I
have
can
learned
come here.
all
There are
I-
stables for my flock.
I think I have learned all I can from the inn business, and it is time to find something else.
What's your favorite lesson that you've learned?
Ooh, great question.
Probably
Right
the
out of my
first thing
question
that
list.
probably the first thing that the innkeeper taught me, and that is that a cozy bed and a warm fire can save more lives than a single sword.
Definitely save mine.
Mine too.
I'd wager you could probably kill more people with a bed than a sword too, if you swung it hard enough.
If you were strong enough to pick it up, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I knew this bear one time. I swear he could have.
It is not the way in which you wield the sword. It is the damage that it causes.
Oh,
So true.
Renard. Oh,
What a
Renard.
bummer.
Going
He's
on
such a
his
wave.
rants. Renard, let's find someone to play cards with. Let's lift your
The
spirits.
most morose
Golly.
fox in existence.
Is that a rant? Is that what we're calling a rant? Is it a brief one-sentence statement is a rant? I don't know about that.
Okay,
Have a
so
drink.
do we feel good about that? The origin story of our party. Yeah.
Flawless.
All right,
10 out of 10.
perfection. Love it.
Let's-
Now, full disclosure, our most tigered viewing audience, we cheated a little bit. So in our session 0, we yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Don't tell them that.
Well, that presents an interesting moral question. Can you, in fact, engage in cheating if you aren't aware that it is, in fact, cheating?
I guess I cheated. Well,
There
so
it is. That's
You have
better.
to have a specific men's
Meta
rank.
game.
in order to effectively play together, I think this is just a little bit of a personal philosophy. It's good in your session 0 to kind of have a little demo, to try it out, you know? Do a little bit of role play, or just, explore the combat mechanics, whatever. So, in testing the waters and seeing how well everybody connected and clicked with the style of game that Wanderhome is, we created the first place where our journey and our story sort of for this group started. We named it Providence, and the way that Wanderhome kind of presents itself is the game itself is really this ongoing journey. You're never really in one place for too terribly long. But because we're exploring this system in just a few short episodes, we have decided on a cadence, so to speak, for the story. And we are going to start as if everyone that needed to arrived in Providence. And we will explore Providence a little bit, figure out what it's about, who's here, a little bit of its history maybe, have some more opportunities for you all to role play. We're coming to meet up with Reynard, and he is going to be joining you on the next leg of your journey. Where that journey is, we do not quite know yet. Maybe we'll figure that out before the end of the episode. Maybe not. That's cool too. Either way, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So, the party arrives, who needs to arrive. And similar to what we did last episode, I have questions for each part of our stop here in Providence. We did a couple of different things last time, but I figured I would just pose it to the group how we wanted to go about it this time. I can ask the question and then everybody give an answer, or ask a question and everybody takes their own question and you guys can choose which question you want?
Second option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The first set of questions. Now I have more than 5. Last time I only did 5, so each of you got 1. So this time there's some opportunity for follow-ups potentially. So the first question on my list is, what is the first thing you or someone entering this town would notice about this town? What's one of the first things that they would take notice of? That's the first question. Do you want me to just rattle off the list?
Sure.
The second question, what's growing or thriving here that feels unique? Question 3. There's a sound you can't quite place. What is it, and what might it mean? Question 4. What do the locals here do better than anywhere else? Question 5. What's something about this place that seems a little magical or strange? And actually, I just decided to change up how I want to do it. So that's 5 questions. So each of you can choose one of those. And then I want all of you to answer this next question. Cool?
Cool.
Okay.
What stories or rumors do people tell about this place? And I'll save the last question for a rainy day.
Can you read the second to last one you did?
What's something about this place that seems a little magical or strange?
I got an answer for that one if nobody else wanted to go first.
Go for it.
In the town center, there's this giant statue. I'm not quite sure what it is because I'm not from there. But every time you come within like a certain distance of it, you feel like this magic vibration, this pulsating coming from the fountain that I can't feel anywhere else in town.
Dig it.
Is it like a warm and cozy magic, or is it like a just overwhelming sense of whoa?
I can't quite place it, but something about it is familiar.
Okay.
I've definitely felt it before, but it has been a long time.
Cool.
Very cool.
And it's because of that that there are rumors and stories that people never leave Providence.
Ooh, I like that.
For some reason, it's a place that people just stay. Rumor.
I like it.
And I think using one of the other answers to one of the other questions and attaching a rumor or story to that is great. That's an excellent world building.
Something that the locals do better than anywhere else is eat my 7-layer honey cake. For some reason, because maybe it's just because it's the first Frost Festival when I make them, but I can't make them fast enough in this town.
I was thinking, I was going to answer that question too and say that people in Providence know how to party.
Yeah, I was gonna say my instinct when you read it out loud was drink mead. Obviously,
That also kind of plays into what my answer was going to be, which is they do hospitality like nobody's business.
There you go.
Maybe this is why people don't leave. I don't know. Boy, oh boy. No wonder Reynard feels bad about having to leave.
Well, I was gonna say the first thing that someone would notice about this town is, man, it is full of rabbits. There's just a lot of rabbit folk here. Like
Rabbit folk. Okay.
like way more rabbit folk than you would think. And there's just so many rabbits that are really into snacks, and that's why they
that
go
tracks.
to town.
That tracks.
Yeah, they go to town on that 7-layer honey cake.
Mm.
Like, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah.
Love this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the population of the town is dominated by rabbit folk.
Interesting. That informs the geography a little bit. That informs the architecture a little bit. Oh, I'm painting pictures in my head that I'm eventually going to turn into a storybook.
Yeah, and then you've got a fox and some badgers. Yeah, it definitely feels holy, burrowy,
Yeah.
digging.
Like
Hobbiton
across, yeah, like Hobbiton, but
Mhm.
closer together.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not as
There's
spread out. It feels like a more city version of Hobbiton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like the sound,
Okay. Yeah.
the ambiguous sound, it kind of seems like it's coming from the fountain sometimes. You don't really
Interesting.
know what it is, but it sounds like almost a hum, like a lullaby,
Oh.
but
Singing
very like
fountain.
ethereal and angelic almost. And it just carries through the city streets.
Okay. I think that's all 5.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't answer the what's growing or
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's right.
or
Oh, and you wanted us
thriving
all
living.
to do the what stories / rumors do people tell, right?
Yeah, I
Oh
did.
yeah, that is an everybody question.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
definitely counting that as one of the 6. Because then
It's
also
one of
there
my
are stories
answers.
about there are definitely stories about my honey cake and the mead from my particular flock. So everybody knows that Providence is the place to be during First Frost because I am the exclusive honey supplier.
I would like to point out that I have sets of questions that are in categories. This first one is about the location itself, about the city itself, more generalized. The next section is about people. The next section is about the journey to get here, and then the next section is about the festival. So there'll be a little opportunity. Just want to make sure everybody's aware that there'll be plenty of opportunity to explore that stuff. I also have a section about the natural world, and then a section about each other.
Nice.
I have an answer then to the question about something that grows here that's unique.
Absolutely.
Great. Because that's yours.
Given the fact that we are overrun with bunny folk, something that grows only in Providence, it's giant clover.
Ooh.
Giant clover, 2, 3, 4 times the size of your typical clover, and it has a slight honeysuckle taste to it, which I think probably attributes to why people go crazy for your honey cakes.
Yeah, I think so.
love it.
Yeah, because the bees would get nectar and pollinate these these specific clover. So yeah.
And once the clover dies out, this is what they get. You've got a good business going on, good business model.
Mm-hmm.
And clover honey actually is banging. Like real clover
It is.
honey is
Yeah.
banging. All right.
Good to know. So I make clover honey.
Do we have any more stories or rumors that we want to share? I know that not everybody got a chance to answer that, but it's okay if you
Sure.
don't. That's fine. No pressure.
I think that Renard hangs his sword up behind the bar and at the inn, and people are often wondering why that's there.
Oh yeah.
Why does he have that? And basically a lot of rumors about Renard's past, that sort of thing.
Does he hang it naked or in its scabbard?
And it's scabbard.
Do you have a name for the inn?
Don't
have to answer that right now because we'll come to a section that targets that a little more directly if you want to think on it for a minute.
Also, new management may decide to change it. Who knows?
Well, I was just thinking it'd be funny if there were some people who thought that the name of the inn was the name of the sword, like the Winchester.
Oh.
That's fun. I think that would make more sense if he hung it unsheathed because it's like on display.
I think either way, because depends on what kind of the sheath looks like, because it could be a heraldic sheath, that you'd see like on a Templar scabbard. Sheaths can
I
be
would
ornate
say-
as
Really
well.
nerdy conversation.
I would say it's a
I am
pretty
enjoying it.
plain sheath. I don't think it's ornamental or decorative in any real way. But I don't think that the town, considering this is a very peaceful world without any violence, that they're used to seeing weapons of war here.
And also preserve the blade, because you wouldn't want to have the blade just out.
Right. But that'd be fun. We could call the inn. Let me think about it.
Yeah, think about it. No rush.
Okay.
But do we have any other rumors or stories, or we're ready to move on to the next section?
I feel good.
Okay. So this next section is about the people of Providence. So the questions are, and we can do this the same way. What do the locals wear, and what does it say about them? The second question is, what's a custom or tradition here that surprises or delights you? Question 3, what's the most welcoming thing someone does for you?
Oh.
Question 4, what's a small argument or disagreement you notice among the townsfolk? And question 5, who here seems out of place, and what might their story be?
I might have something for an argument. It's more of a private argument than among the townsfolk.
I think that among
as
the
a
townsfolk
whole.
can be as many as, or as few as 2. That's
Well, I know that Deirdre's not crazy about her uncle selling the inn. But it's none of my business.
okay.
I could see that kind of trickling out to the community.
Especially if, the sale is to someone from the outside who knows if they're going to preserve the community.
Ooh.
None of
Has,
my
has
business.
the inn been owned by solely community members this entire time? How many owners have had it?
It's been owned by the same family for several generations, I think.
So is somebody
I think-
outside of the family?
Yes, it
Yes,
is. It is.
because I think Deirdre was expecting to maybe be able to take it over one day.
Yeah, it's a friend of Ogden's who's taking over.
Is Ogden a
No.
bunny?
Ogden's a
No,
fox.
he's
That's
Oh,
right.
No.
Ogden's a fox. Right?
Okay, sure. It's
Okay.
fine. Then
yeah.
Deirdre's also.
I thought we decided that all the innkeepers were foxes. It was like a fox family that ran the inn.
No. We had talked about it.
I thought that's what it was.
Well, I
Today-
guess maybe I'm attributing that to making all the foxes French.
Yes, we had talked about him being a badger.
Badger.
Right.
Yeah. Deirdre is also
Well-
a badger and is Ogden's niece.
But he is selling it to a friend of his, an old friend of his.
Right. He didn't.
Yes.
He didn't have any of his own children, I guess, to pass it on to,
Mm.
and he's ready to retire.
What about you? Reynard?
I do not know how to operate an inn. I'm no head for business. I was just here to find my way, as it were. Perhaps there is another way for me, though.
Ogden
No
knows.
need to get stuck just because you needed to rest.
Ogden knows that there are bigger things waiting for good old Reynard.
It's kind of you to say that.
I just call it like I see it.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Oh, Ogden.
Oh, you're Ogden. Okay, hello. Nice. I would know who you are.
Yeah. Keep up. Keep up.
Did you say it at some point? I totally missed it.
No, it was just an inference.
Yeah. It's okay.
I had to pick up some context clues.
They're
That's
easy. They're
not
easy.
always
Yeah, they're easy to
gonna
drop.
happen.
They're easy to
It's
drop
just
in
some
this
random
format.
guy's like, oh, Ogden knows.
Right?
Who's this guy?
Yeah, he's drunk.
Well, that's Lenny.
And apparently it's speaking about yourself in the third person, so that was also confusing. I thought you were some random patron who like is just there enough to know, oh, I know what Ogden thinks. 'cause
Ogden
I'm
got
there all the time, and he
Ogden,
talks to
Ogden
me.
suffered a head injury years ago, and ever since then he refers to himself in the third person. You know, it really
Good ol'
was
Ogden.
kind of off-putting at first, but you get used to it, and then it kind of becomes
think
a
it's
little
charming.
endearing. Yeah, it becomes a little endearing.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
Ogden.
Yeah.
Ogden's real gruff and crotchety, but heart of gold deep down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know the type.
I feel like me and
Yeah.
Ogden would get along very well.
He tends to take in orphans, as it were. So, he fostered the fox man. I'm sure he would have done the same for you.
Yeah, so
Oh,
let's just answer that question then. The most welcoming thing someone does for you. I mean, Ogden
Yeah.
Ogden took me in, and
You can't get much more welcoming than that.
True.
Took
Plus,
me
he gives
in.
that great speech at the beginning of every festival.
He does.
He gives a great toast.
Yeah, Ogden took in Renaud and took a man who was largely broken from his experiences and has made him a better person.
And you paid that kindness forward with me, giving me a place to stay, making me feel welcome, giving me a job.
Yeah, I
Very
remember.
simple.
Yeah, I remember last year after you bought me that drink and we had a nice little chat, and then I look over and you've disappeared and you're over with Ogden and he has his arm around you and then you're just chatting for hours.
Like I said, we get along very well.
Ogden likes to talk.
He does,
He's real long-winded.
but I don't mind.
It's charming.
I
Well,
don't
he
mind.
likes to complain to anyone that will listen.
In the
A
third
lot
person.
of complaining.
Yeah.
It was a lot of complaining, but I understand.
I mean,
You know the stress
hospitality's a bitch.
Yeah.
Compassion fatigue is a very real
It's a
phenomenon.
very real phenomenon.
It-
And this is an inn with a restaurant. You got food service and hospitality.
Tables,
I mean,
complaints
Yeah.
are
I mean,
everywhere.
is,
he's-
mail.
He's vetching the whole time.
The staff isn't that big.
no, which actually the new guy is bringing in a lot of new people too.
Oh, wow.
New people.
New people.
Except everyone is so welcoming here, so.
That's why we're leaving.
New people are coming. We don't want to have to meet them, so we're literally running away.
Some
I
of the
like
little
my circle
bunnies-
and my circle only.
The little bunnies that do not trust a fox sometimes. It is a problem occasionally.
They also seem to not trust that snake person who set up shop just outside town. Very so out of place, but their wares are good.
What did
She
you just
knits-
buy there the other day?
She
They
knits
sell
little
oil.
scarves.
Question number 5. Good job, Emily.
She knits little scarves and does tarot readings.
Which
How-
watching a snake knit
Sorry.
is just
I was just going
fucking
to ask
miraculous.
Absolutely impressive.
it's so
how
impressive.
Truly,
did you do that?
truly did not know how they were doing that.
She's got one needle in her mouth and the other one wrapped around her tail, and she's just going at it like crazy.
Her muscular control is
goodness.
just insane.
It's
Well,
She's like she's made of knuckles.
I'll have to go and visit her shop and get Belladonna one of those scarves because I know that she'll model it all over up and down the trail for her.
Belladonna would love a
Oh,
scarf.
will she?
There was one. Ooh, there was one that was like a nice purpley lavender color that would just look beautiful on her.
Oh, Belladonna loves purple. That'll be a really nice Frost Festival gift.
Yeah.
Alas,
Wasn't
there
even much of
was
a scarf
a
person.
there was a snake that traveled through here one time and was selling medical cures. They said would cure any illness, and it turned out to not work. And so, no one has trusted a snake merchant since that time.
Well, that's incredibly biased. Had
Fueled
nothing
by-
to do with the fact that it was a snake.
Fueled
Yeah,
by
I-
one oil salesman, and
I-
they distributed to everyone.
I actually think that was a newt that was in a horrible thresher accident.
Ooh.
No,
That's not cozy.
Happens to the
I mean,
best of
not
us.
at all. You
Snakes-
threw a wrench in the whole vibe.
Snakes aren't oily though. That's the whole thing. It's just,
They were
just
selling
They're quite
oil.
dry.
they're quite dry. Right, but where to get it?
Water snakes aren't dry.
Well, that's true.
Wait, was the town underwater then?
Has the town been underwater before?
I don't even know anymore.
Oh boy, and we
Went.
haven't even started the partying yet.
Are the clovers actually lily pads?
Maybe.
Oh, were they previously?
All right, we're now an underwater town.
There could be.
I'm a-
There could be underwater towns in the world. I'm just saying.
I'm a
you know.
fish folk now.
Frogs,
used to be an underwater
newts,
town.
salamanders, turtles. You know, there could.
Axolotl.
What's the rule with
Axolotl.
fish in this world? Are fish people or are they?
Some fish are definitely people.
Okay.
I would think. I don't know. What do I look like? You God?
Well, but I mean, like
Yes.
the rule is that
Next question.
insects are like lesser creatures,
Yeah.
right? So are fish?
I mean,
Would
Vertebrates.
isopods fall under
No.
that?
oh
shrimp?
no. Well,
I'm just really scared you're invoking the wrath of the entire ocean right now. That thing is terrifying. Can we just like let's respect the fish? Don't call them lesser.
Invoking the
Okay.
wrath of the entire ocean.
Are fish people or are fish food? That's
Are fish be
Fish are
people?
fun. Not food.
I don't
In
think
this-
this is a discussion that we can actually have in a world
This
where
is-
we are animated animals.
No.
I don't know.
because-
Maybe we could. It gets real meta for a second.
Again,
I've never met
insects.
a fish.
Insects are like farm animals in this world, right? Like we have herds of bumbles, etc.
Meanwhile, there's a cricket sitting there nodding. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the okay. I'm.
Who knows what the rules are? The rules are what we say they are.
Can I go fishing, or do I go say hi to my fish
I
neighbor?
think there's
That's the
probably a little bit of
I think
both.
both. Yeah.
We're just gonna do
no.
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
That's
if
the hard part.
I go catch a trout in the river nearby and eat it for dinner, no one's gonna give me a hard time about it.
No.
Were you planning?
I
on
mean,
that?
the rule is if you pull it out of the water and it asks you to put it back, you gotta put it back.
Put it back.
My name's Terry. Could you
That's-
put me back, please?
Fine. That's the rule. As long as it doesn't know it has a name, it can't, you're good.
I'm out of the water. I can't breathe. Put me back. Okay.
Harry, no. I like
Fair enough.
Terry.
All right. Now that we've addressed that,
It's okay. He was with his wife too, so she just popped up and was like, "Yo, dude, let him go."
Put it
You
back.
didn't even have to say
or she stayed under the water and was like, finally.
it. Okay, let's
How
do
did we
work at
trying to
work.
get out of the house?
All right.
Moving
So so the question, we have two questions left.
Anthony.
What do the locals wear and what does it say about them? And what's a custom or tradition here that surprises or delights you?
I'm gonna cheat a little bit because this is from our session 0 where we were sort of pontificating about this festival, but if I recall correctly, one of the traditions at First Frost is to give one another scarves and socks and warm, cozy things, right?
That's true.
Which
We
I
make
was
a habit of keeping those on hand for those and anybody who doesn't have anyone you meet during that.
exactly. So I'm reminded of then the snake who's kind of set up shop outside of town.
She knows
With-
the customs.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, charming, delightful, cozy, warm.
Delightful.
That
Because we're talking everyone. Everybody just carries these extra garments around, and anytime they meet somebody, here's a pair of socks.
Yeah, the moth tenders are extraordinarily busy this time of year. One thing that we will note about the Heath, the world that with this game takes place in, is correspondence, mail, and packages is delivered by colossal moths. Or not necessarily colossal, but really big moths. And there are these characters that are like postal workers that are moth tenders, and they tend to the moth towers that would be in or nearby a settlement, and they will collect the mail and deliver it around the city with their little moth buddy.
Aww.
I love that.
Moth buddy.
Moth
There will
buddy.
be an NPC. He's not in this town, I don't think, because it just doesn't. The vibe isn't right. But there is an NPC he's my first Wanderhome character that I never really got to play, and he's a moth
Aw.
tender. And wait till you see his artwork.
I'm so
Evoke my
excited.
fish question.
Do what?
This continues to evoke my fish question.
Are moths be sentient?
Well, I mean, similarly to the bumbles, some moths, I guess, can be trained. Like falconers, but moths.
Mhm.
It's a much less aggressive falconer.
Well, there's clearly a falcon person.
Yeah, there's clearly a falcon person, and they could be a moth tender. That'd be real
Yes.
weird. And I
Yes.
love it. And so the last question is, what do locals wear, and what does it say about them? Who hasn't answered a question? I wasn't keeping track.
I don't remember.
I don't think I have yet.
Do it.
All right, Caleb.
Yeah, I
What
think
what
it's
what
you.
what do the locals wear? And what does it say about them?
I noticed that a lot of the children wear floral crowns,
Hmm.
which really shows that they're in touch with the nature and the world around them.
Dig it. Bunch of rabbit folk wearing floral crowns. Love it. So we talked a little bit last session, and I had homework. And since we were talking about the locals of this town, why don't we talk about the NPCs that our characters remember or know from Providence? Meg, you have already alluded to yours a few times. If you want to go in a little more detail, you can start us off. Yeah. we'll go from
What
there.
other detail would you like to know necessarily?
Anything else that you might want to share?
Her name's Deirdre. She is a badger. She's Ogden's niece. She runs the stables. So I've had a lot of one-on-one conversation with her over the years when bunking up my bumbles while she's been in charge of the stable. So I would say I'm probably actually a little friendlier with her than Ogden directly.
I also alluded to mine a little bit. I created, her name is Naomi. She is a snake kind. Who
Yay!
is a traveling salesman who comes for the Frost Festival every year, sells her scarves and mittens, and does tarot readings for people.
That's
the-
amazing.
I'm
For the
working on
coming-
I
that.
love
art.
it when
coming
you've
year.
accidentally written the answer to a question we didn't know we were gonna get.
I am gonna start working on that artwork immediately.
Oh yes, please.
A snake wearing a sweater doing tarot? Are you kidding me?
She wears a beret. She's
Oh,
an artist
yeah.
type.
Of course she
She's
does.
an artist type.
Oh, what colors are her scales?
Oh, think she's a black rat snake, so she's like kind of iridescent and rainbowy, but like
But
in
subtle.
certain lights, she's
Yeah.
dark. Yeah. Moody.
I love that.
Love it. Gentlemen.
So, one of the first people I ran into on my first night was a little blind shrew sitting outside the bar. And as I got to talking to him, I figured out that he was blind. And as I was leaving, I accidentally dropped my pipe. And he noted that there was a fancy kind of insignia on it. And it made me question, how did he know it was there?
Magic mystery shrew.
What made you assume that he is blind?
He had the cane. And I could tell by the way that he was interacting with the world around him, he wasn't really looking. He's very much sensing and going by the other senses.
Gotcha. So he sensed something off your
Right.
pipe.
Or when he
Yeah,
picked up the
'cause he
pipe,
didn't look
he
him-
felt the insignia on it. Just bump my mic.
I've been meaning to ask you about that insignia, by the way.
Oh, it's just something.
That was one of my
something-
questions last time.
Just something from my past. Something I'd like to keep forgotten if need be.
Okay, I'll take that for now, but we'll circle back to this topic in the future, I'm sure.
Perhaps.
Those might be. Do it again.
My NPC's not actually here. She was, and I came to find her, but she's not here, and so I don't know where she is. Her name is Matilda Give. She's a skunk. She is the person who actually gave me my deck of cards and taught me how to play.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Well, because remember, I'm a little squirrel who got lost. Lost my family because, of course, I found myself someplace I wasn't supposed to be and then couldn't find my way back to the place I was supposed to be. And this wonderful, wonderful woman who is sort of like a surrogate grandmother got me back on my feet, told me I could find her in Providence at any point in time, and I came, and she's not here.
Interesting.
She's your Ogden.
Kind of.
Well, we definitely have to ask around. I mean, it's not every day that you see a skunk in Providence, so I'm sure somebody has to remember.
I know. I thought it would be easy to find her. She told me she would always be here. I came last year. I've come this year. Maybe the cards will help me find her. I don't think they could do that.
I was about to say, do they have a
Yours
Throw them in
can't,
the air.
but-
tracking feature?
We don't know that yet.
But maybe I
Yours
need to
may
go.
not be able to, but maybe Naomi's can.
Ahaha.
Perhaps. Although I have
Perhaps.
heard she's not very good at reading tarot.
She's the only thing I got right now, unless the fountain can talk to me.
Who is educated enough to have that opinion?
That's a fair point, actually. She reads a lot from the book that comes along with her deck of cards.
I
And then-
see, I see. So it seems more gimmicky.
Just a tad, and she kind of interprets them in a weird way.
It never quite makes sense.
She told me my feathers would turn green.
Were you then in any situation directly following in which you felt ill?
No, but I did have a bit of algae on my tail feathers.
Well, there you go.
I think she nailed it. She nailed it. I have to trust her.
But okay. All right.
Michael,
That sounds like something we're all going to do.
I gave you 2
Yay.
NPCs. Which one do you want?
Whichever one speaks to you more. I'm easy either way. I have an idea for the more aggressive one, we'll say. But
Okay.
whichever one.
The NPC I came up with for Lanal is also not present. It is his mortal enemy from the war, Isengrim the Wolf.
No.
Oh.
The two of them fought many times, but neither ever was able to gain the upper hand on the other. And there's some unfinished business there.
Forever locked in a stalemate.
Yes.
Exciting.
All right. I think that is an excellent spot to go to our bathroom break. So we're going to do that. And when we come back, we will talk a little bit about our journeys so far. And then we will get into the nitty-gritty of the first Frost Festival. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And we're back. Mostly. Most of us are back.
Hi.
Hello.
We are missing the Jimmy Jams.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's out there now, baby. But that's okay.
He doesn't like it when you call him that.
As he says that, but he loves it. He at one point said something about not having a group of friends where he had a nickname that he didn't hate until Jimmy Jams. Anyway, as is the custom in these parts, we hope you had a pleasant bathroom break. I sure did. We are playing Wanderhome. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you're not, then you know what's going on. We just did some questions about the first place that our party is in, Providence. But before we get to that, I have an interesting fact about squirrels. Did you know that squirrels are what's considered scatter hoarders? And what they do with their food supply is they bury it in lots of different places. Often, they forget where they buried it, and those caches of nuts grow into trees. Squirrels are one of the most important keystone species for reforestation in the entire ecosystem. Another fun fact about scatter hoarding is squirrels are wise to the shenanigans of other squirrels, and they will dig false caches and pretend they're burying nuts so that the other squirrels won't actually get their nuts.
That's so petty. I love that, though.
That sounds like my family.
Leave my nuts alone.
I mean,
I was waiting for something.
least
I was
not-
waiting for something.
I've met a fair amount of squirrels, and that is their expression. Their expression is "leave my nuts alone." If you've ever looked a squirrel in the eye, they also have really scary fingers.
They do have really scary.
Really scary. I mean, they have to be able to crawl as fast as they can. Almost vertically. Crazy. Anyway, hi.
how do squirrels feel about the
Hi.
slap chop? You're gonna love my nuts.
Yeah.
Oh
Sorry.
boy.
Welcome back. That's our segue back into this cozy world of Wanderhome. Hey, cozy comes in a lot of different flavors.
Yeah.
This is our brand of cozy.
Sorry,
Slap
I need
chop.
to get back to my questions. So we have been learning about the place that we are in, Providence. We learned a little bit about the location itself. We learned a little bit about the people. Now we're going to learn a little bit about why the party is here and why this place is in such a festive spirit by learning about the festival that is currently going on in Providence. So, same as before, I have a list of questions here. First off, who wants to explain what First Frost is?
Well, we touched on it a little bit, but I don't mind unless someone else wants to.
Go for it.
So, First Frost is exactly what it sounds like. It occurs when the first frost of the year happens, but it's unique in that the children have to kick off the festival by being the ones to wake up and discover the frost. So as it gets colder and colder, kids are like trying to sneak out or wake up early and peep for the frost, because once it appears, the whole town goes into party mode. And we have a big festival where we drink lots of mead, and the opening night of it, the night that the festival begins, the tavern master gives a big toast to the community and opens that year's mead supply and
The fresh
drinks all
batch
around.
or whatever
Yeah.
the new batch.
The new vintage.
Yeah.
The new vintage.
I think we also
This
said
year's blend.
that this
Delicious.
coincides with the winter solstice.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially, yeah.
It doesn't. So
Not
my
a hard
thing
like
that
a
you're
hard
thinking
date.
of
but-
is my bumbles happen to be under a night that first frost fell on a full moon.
Mm.
I think it's not necessarily a specific day, just in the approximation of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that time of year.
All right. So here are the questions about First Frost. What do the decorations here say about the people celebrating? Number 2, what's a game or activity that everyone seems to enjoy? 3, what's the most delicious thing you try and how does it make you feel? 4, what's the most unusual thing you see at the celebration? And what's a song or chant that everyone knows, and what is it about?
I have an answer for the first one, if nobody minds,
Go
Sure.
for it.
about the decorations. I think that everything is really everything's really sparkly, really glittery, very light and airy. Their decorations really try to capture the beauty of winter, and the focus of the festival, socializing, relying on connections to get us through the dark months. So I think the fact that they even decorate at all, but also that they choose lights and airy, sort of sparkly things, says that these people, above all, rely on hope. They're always hopeful in the face of darkness.
I have a really kind of gross, but also it would totally work, and I could see them doing it way for them to decorate some by using slugs, because slug trails glitter really brightly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Sure do.
absolutely. It's like just like maybe in the human world, wherever we could put tinsel and like spray on snow, that's where they're just rubbing everything down with these slugs. So
Or
they
they
can
like I can imagine like a
sparkly
cute
tinsel.
way to like get the slugs. Like, I'm gonna paint beer on the wall in this shape, and the slugs will eat it. Like, I can imagine all kinds of silly cartoony ways to get slugs
That is
to help
very
you
cute.
decorate.
I'm obsessed
like
with
that.
that. Yeah,
I,
that's
I
good.
love that we have the slugs consent.
We have spider like I think
Spider
decorations
silk.
decorations made from like spun spider silk.
Little
Mhm.
like paper snowflakes, but made of spider silk.
Yeah.
There we go. See, all of those things.
I love that.
Very hopeful, very bright, very light in the dark.
Much delight.
Much delight.
They're good.
All
People,
right.
people just bottle up fireflies for the evening.
Yeah, and like hang them.
Yeah, yeah.
Kindling is not too fond of that. That's
The lesser
well
fireflies, the smaller ones, the little ones.
all right. All right. All right.
They're well compensated for their use that evening.
Good. They get honey water galore.
The Firefly Union is very
Yes,
strong.
in fact, that is what is hung to attract them to the bottles. And
Ah.
they're little glass like bottles or baubles that are lined with or have a pool of honey water in them, and people hang them places, and just because of the food, the fireflies are attracted, and it just makes light where it is.
Totally consensual.
Yeah,
Right.
they're into it.
They're into it.
Oh my god, I have such warm fuzzy feelings.
You've done it again, Wanderhome.
You've done it again.
All right, that's question one. Nice, wrapped up nicely there. Who's next?
I feel like game activity that everybody gets into. I really love this idea of the children getting more and more excited. And I feel like there has to be some kind of, and you can help me with the details. I feel like the child that identifies and finds the first frost becomes the king, queen, prince, princess, champion of the festival, and the town gets so excited to rally behind that particular child, and then their reign for the festival. Maybe they come up with a decree or something, and then the town has to go along with whatever they decree for the festival. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, what if the child is chosen
Mm,
like ahead of time to be the one to get to make the announcement? So there's like the one kid whose job it is that year. You know what I mean? Because then like it can be a reward thing for like outstanding behavior, outstanding like, community citizenship. Be like an award, like an honor that's announced at the end of the festival for the next year, or like, shortly before the festival or something like that. So that all the kids are waiting for it because it's still a really big fun party. But this one kid has the extra special job, because I just don't know otherwise how we would know who was first.
that's,
don't-
I have an idea
No.
there.
You do?
I do. I would say, because like there's a fine line between like that almost there dew and frost, I think that it's this kid, whoever finds what the town would refer to as a frost flower, which is like a dandelion tuft or a thistle bloom or some sort of delicate flower blossom that is completely crystalline with frost. Like it's frozen by the frost. So whatever kid finds one of those, and it could be tied to you could do both. That maybe it happens to that kid. The kid that works extra hard, the kid that does extra
that's
good.
Cool.
That's
the magic of first
that's
frost.
the magic
that it's
of
going
is
to
that
present
they
itself.
will find it. But that's what I see, is a little bit of magic in there. That way you kind of eliminate like who decides, how do they decide, and then
Right.
and I think that also takes out some of the competitive aspect and makes it more just, I'm just gonna try to do good, and hopefully I'll find the frost flower. Because that's the trick.
Yeah.
You can't go looking for it now.
I'm thinking entirely too deeply into the consequences of the disappointment of looking, and what that maybe tells the kids about themselves and not loving that. But this is not real, so We should.
Well, I
I
don't think
probably
it's.
don't need to worry about it.
I don't think it's
It's real to
necessarily.
me.
I don't think it's the kind of thing that they can like actively be looking for. Is my point. Is because how are you going to know when that's going to happen? Do they just start?
Right.
Do they just start waking up extra early when as soon as it starts getting cold?
It's cold
You know?
outside.
No, I think
Yes.
I think I mean there are probably some kids who do that, and they're probably the kids that get in trouble and are kind of ne'er-do-wells and vandals and hooligans. But the good kids, they know that they don't have to go hunting for it.
Yeah, so that's what it is. People are gonna have beliefs both ways in
Yeah.
it, right? Because it's magic we can't entirely understand. So there will be kids who will try to get up to spot it, to be up early every morning so that they have the most time to go hunting before everybody else knows that it has frosted. I like that.
I could even imagine like kids being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go find the wizard in the woods and get him to teach me to do ice magic, and then I'll make my first frost flower."
The Wizard in the Woods is just Gwyn with her firefly.
Okay, what was the next question? I love that.
I don't remember.
Oh, this is the one that I think has already been answered, but who knows? What's the most delicious thing you try, and how does it make you feel?
I think we know how the townspeople feel about that 7-layer cake and the mead, Ogden's mead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this could be a personal thing, though, for the characters. If there's something specific that one of your characters particularly enjoys, or you could just focus on the second part of the question. And how does it make you feel? Like, what's the unique feeling that eating that honey cake?
Yeah.
know,
What does
or
eating
or-
the cake make you feel?
or drinking the mead.
Well, I've been on the road for as long as I can remember. Been far away from home, and the feeling I get when I first tasted the cake, it was very, very homey. But it tasted like a home cooked meal, essentially. So it was very comforting.
An exotic food that
Number
tastes
one
like a home
goal.
cooked meal. Love it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, then, the 2 more questions. What's the most unusual thing you see at the celebration? And what's a song or chant that everyone knows, and what's it about? And you don't have to sing anything. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. I wouldn't want to be put on the spot like that. I mean, Katie was in the chat earlier, and I'm sure she will be very disappointed if you don't, but
She can deal with it.
she can deal with it. She can submit her song.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, you know what? No. So let's get into the headspace of Fahu for Fahu for welcome Christmas, or whatever that is. So there has to be some kind of like the frost is here song where everyone surrounds the fountain.
Yeah, gather around the
and
fountain with
grasps
scarves around your neck.
hands, scarves around your neck, socks upon your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
The frost is here. The frost is here. Let all of us come meet. I don't know, something
like
like
that.
that.
Great. I love it.
All right, YouTube, write it, and we'll see if we can get Charlie Pugh to do it for us or something. All right. What's the most unusual thing you see at the celebration?
Huh. I haven't answered yet, so
That is correct.
I
Yeah.
also have more, more questions about this category if we want.
let's say there is a salamander that lives in town. And when that first frost happens and everybody's super excited and goes to enter party mode, the salamander runs inside, shuts all the doors, the windows, closes them up, and then no one sees them for the next 3 months. They are just, and no one knows why this happens. Like, otherwise, this is a totally normal salamander person that everyone is friendly with. But when that first frost happens, they're gone, and
And
nobody knows why.
I just never remembered to ask.
Yeah, no, everyone's kind of been like, well, it would be quite rude to just ask, wouldn't it?
You can't just ask. I mean,
You can't just say, hey, why do you hide? So no one's ever,
Hide.
none of the bunnies have worked up the courage to ask
Aw.
the salamander why.
it's
Or just respect the salamander's decision.
It's particularly funny in my head because I imagined it as like a hellbender, like a really big salamander.
Sure.
And it's really funny to see a really big salamander get freaked out by the cold.
Yes,
Scurry
I
inside.
also that visual in my head of like the salamander person all of a sudden just dropping and scurrying away was really funny.
Yeah. Okay, so for the I have one group question for the festival too. And I'd like to do with this question is answer it with a yes and exercise that all of you should be very familiar with. It's pretty easy to follow. We're going to tell a story one person at a time, and I want us to come up with a mythology surrounding the first Frost Festival. We'll think about the different elements that we have talked about, the decorations. Think about, the frost flower, even the food, and how might those elements be extrapolated from some mythology. Take a moment to think it over.
I think I touched on this during session 0, but the concept of, well, now the salamander who goes into hibernate, that like we offer just a little bit of our food or our mead into a fire by the fountain, just to feed this sort of bonfire that in, like is a symbol of the warmth that hibernation used to bring us, but that we've kind of evolved past that point of needing to be, hidden away for that long. So we put a little bit of our food in the fire, and eventually the smoke piles up into this like visage of a bear, and it's the bear of hibernation.
I like the idea of tying in the flower, that maybe the flower was a sign from like the winter gods, or
Yeah.
that as long as you found that flower, you would not be gripped by hibernation, by the need for hibernation. Something to do with that, maybe.
Yeah, that's solid.
I like the idea of the spirit of winter being a big, cozy black bear.
Yeah.
Me too. Now what?
Do you want us to-
Continue. I want each of you to contribute to the mythology, to this myth surrounding the festival.
So I think the
So-
bear of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bear of winter chased away in the myth, chased away the sun and the light and the warmth, and that's why we decorate with sparkly things and fireflies.
Oh, yeah.
Is that because of the darkness of the wintertime, we had to bring our own light until the sun and the warmth came back in the spring.
Love it.
I hope this is an okay way to build on it, but as Emily was talking about putting offerings in the fires, I think it's probably something that the more superstitious townsfolk do on the regular with their own home hearths, but then part of the fountain sculpture is is a brazier,
Ah.
and it gets lit
Yeah.
at first frost, and
Mhm.
people make public offerings throughout the festival, and it burns the entire festival,
Dig it.
symbolizing the warmth we make for each other to get us through the winter.
I imagine there's a curmudgeonly old, maybe like a possum, who anytime anybody gets to talking about the fountain making noises, he just goes on about the pipes underneath expanding and contracting.
It's just a pipe's theory.
Stupid kid.
I imagine too that with the original story, how the winter god chased away the sun and the light. How it may have seemed very scary at first, but from that, people got a bigger sense of community because they knew that it would be a time to come together to be with one another during the cold time, and thus the festival and the gathering began.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's something about the bear chasing away the sunshine, chasing away the light. And then there was a group of people in this myth, in this story, that the bear wasn't aware of or didn't think about in that particular moment, which is why this group of people, to survive this sudden night, this sudden darkness, this sudden cold, started these traditions of giving socks, giving, scarves. And then somehow in this story, you can help me find this out, it was recognizing that flower, that frost flower, that helped them realize this is the time that we need to, create warmth. Go, Meg, go.
Okay, so the very first frost occurred when the bear, when Winter, who is a bear, like in Russian folklore, when Winter came and chased the sun away, taking away the warmth and the light that we depend on, forcing us to need to hibernate in the first place. And the first Frost Festival celebrates the animal who found the first frost flower. That frost flower gave them the ability to not be overtaken by hibernation, and they were able to, but they realized that they weren't going to make it on their own, and so they started waking other people up as well, and they learned how to like keep each other warm and started making sweaters and hats and scarves and gloves. Emily, go.
So, the reason that the child is the one to find the flower, because in the original story, it was a kid who found the
Of course
frost
it was.
flower.
Of course
Right.
it was.
Yeah, so they picked it. They realized, oh man, I don't feel tired right now. I gotta go tell everybody about this. So they go and they start shaking it on all of the other townspeople's like faces to wake them up. And that's how they realized that this flower was the symbol of, oh, I don't have to hibernate anymore. So whoever finds that flower, I guess,
Has to go run and start everything off.
Run and start everything off.
Sprinkle it everywhere.
The reason that honey plays such a prominent role is it's an indication of having honey in such abundance as to make byproducts out of it is an indicator of cultivation as opposed to simple gathering and storing.
It's effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point of we can gather and store and harvest these things and make things out of them rather than simply having to survive by finding and consuming what we find. Get us through the winter.
The warmth of our effort.
Being settled rather than nomadic.
I have a question. Is there fear of not finding the first frost flower, of what could happen.
Sure. I mean, any you know, civilized society is gonna have doomsayers. You know.
Ooh, I like the idea that that's part of the myth that like the first frost flower, you know, you have to find it or else,
Hibernation overtakes us all.
yeah,
Huh.
or the sun won't come back or something of that
Yeah.
nature.
That's what the
But
blind shirt talks about.
it's become like the myth, right? And that in our modern era, some parent always makes sure that there is a frost flower out there to be found, kind of like putting out milk and cookies for Santa, right? Like,
So it's like
um,
the Santa versus like Krampus kind of.
yeah, it's we talk about, oh, what happens if we don't find it, but somebody's always making sure that there's one there to be found, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've come up
How
with
do
a
we
whole like
coordinate that on a community level?
I've come up
Like
with
that, so that there's only one. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've come up with a whole like dark history that this mythology is actually pulled from. That first kid went on to become a warlord, frost mage.
Why?
Because that's just where my brain goes.
You're really
That's fair.
turning the cozy vibes tonight, honey.
It's the murder hobo D&D brain taking over.
It's hard.
That's not where we are. It's just where the world was, and we know that this world has
That's
a dark
true.
past.
That's true.
I'm just thinking about what that could be, and that
Yeah,
and using what we're building now is a great way to think about that. That's all. It's like Disney villain style, though, not like grimdark.
There was-
You know.
And there
From
was a
fairy
vicious
tales.
king or something like that. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Black Cauldron, like the Horned King.
Mm.
I was thinking we could also tweak the myth into something where like uh the hibernation wasn't even possible, or never mind. I don't have enough words right now. More that like if we have to come together as a community in order to make it better
Mm-hmm.
We have
You
to
know
come
what I
together
mean?
as a community to not have
in
to
order
hibernate.
to survive.
To not
Yeah.
have to hibernate. Because I can also imagine that there are those who want to live out in the wilder lands, you know, that don't live as a part of the community, and they probably do hibernate to a certain
That's a good
extent.
point.
You know,
Okay.
reptile like a salamander, any reptiles in the world or amphibians in the world would have to hibernate because they're cold blooded.
Well, I mean,
Crocodiles, alligators.
they could light a fire.
I mean, yeah, sure. There are probably some.
They have central air in this
Yeah.
this community.
It's just a bug in like a box stuck to the house.
God. So
With
it's like
holes.
turning into the Flintstones. The bugs is like, it's a living.
All of their names are AC.
But it's animated like Miyazaki in my head. It's like Studio Ghibli. That's an
The animated movie is so crazy.
That's an excellent segue to our next question section, which is about the natural world.
That was a good segue.
Thank you.
Time to talk about fish. Let's go.
So, the first question is, what's the first animal or plant that you would notice here, and what's special about it? Now, it's worth noting with some of these questions, the wording is such that it could be like here and now. It could be something that your character has experienced, is experiencing, will experience. It's up to you. I just don't want us to feel like we are locked in the exposition delivery. That's all. So what's the first animal or plant you notice here, and what's special about it? Number 2, what's the sky like today, and how does it reflect your mood? Number 3, there's a tree here older than any of you. What does it look like, and what stories might it hold? Number 4,
So many.
What's a small creature that watches you as you pass by? And what do you think it's thinking? Number 5. What's the scent carried on the wind, and where might it come from?
I have an answer for either that one or the sky.
I have a sky answer.
The sky answer.
I have a sky answer.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh wait, do you want my sky answer? Also, I was gonna let you answer that one and answer
Oh,
the
no.
scent instead.
No, you answer the other one,
that
but I'll let you go first.
The scent is that indescribable scent of snow, like oncoming snow. Hasn't
Cold.
started snowing yet, but you
Crisp.
can smell it on the air. Yes, it smells
The
crisp.
cold ozone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really it's that's the nearest I can figure to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sky is gray, but it's also bright.
You cut out.
And the thing
I got
about
really excited.
the thing about the bright gray sky is that in this particular moment, I mentioned that my sort of unofficial grandmother, who told me I could always find her here, I have not been able to find her here the 2 times I've been here. So the gray makes me feel, even though we're in the middle of first frost, a little sad. A little sad that the color of the sky has gone away, that it's not blue, that it's not beautiful. But then there's still the brightness, which makes me still have hope. The light hasn't gone away, but I wonder why I haven't been able to find her the past few times I've been here. So perhaps a bit melancholy, but not sad.
That was lovely.
All right, that's 2. And then there were 3.
Can answer the small creature question.
I'm gonna laugh if it was a fish.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not a fish. Not a fish.
Fish
As
to
Renard works in the kitchen, preparing for the festivities later in the day, there is a small mouse just hanging out, watching him dash back and forth, watching him handle all of the various foodstuffs and other sundries. And all the mouse can think is, oh boy, I just can't wait till he's done. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get all that food. I'm gonna get all of it. This is the best day of the year. There's all this food, all these people around. No one's gonna notice me. Can't wait. And that's what's going on in his brain.
That's what you think is going on in his brain.
No, Renard knows.
Yeah, Renard found his journal. It's little. It's real small, but
Gus,
Weirdly, he writes out
Gus.
exactly what his inner monologue
It's
is.
crazy.
Oh boy.
it's a choice. It's a choice.
He's a master at the writing down word vomit thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that? Stream of consciousness
his-
Stream
writing.
of consciousness. That's the.
Yeah.
That's
He's
the
a
phrase.
regular. He's the Faulkner of mice.
Yeah. His descriptive language is just.
He wrote of men and men.
Of men and men.
Oh.
Good.
And then there were 2.
What was the tree question again?
There's a tree here older than any of you. What does it look like, and what stories might it hold? And then the other question was, what's the first animal or plant you notice, and what's special about it? I also think, just while we're on this particular subject, that we can lean full into the fantasy element of this world, and some of the creatures don't necessarily have to be like animals. They can be imps and gremlins and soot sprites. Like what the hell are those? It can be mythological creatures, if you like. You know, I'm sprites and fairies.
Right next to the stables of the inn lies an old tree. Worn and weathered from time, but still grows beautiful leaves in the summer and spring, loses them in the fall, and becomes this almost scary mangle of tree limbs and branches and burls on the trunk. It has seen some things. It's lived through lots of battles and strife, and but also times of peace, and has been a constant, has been a solid entity in this town. People,
She looks real pretty dressed up in spider silk snowflakes.
she looks stunning dressed up in spider silk snowflakes and little baubles put on there by the kiddos. But she's like a rock. The townsfolk looked, but a tree.
If a
But it's
rock
just-
was a tree.
If a rock was a tree, she'd be a tree. She'd be a rock. I don't know.
She'd be it.
The townsfolk know that if the tree still stands, that the year is good. The future will be good.
All right, what you got, Caleb? I see it.
All right. I'm cooking. So the creatures that what was the exact wording of the question?
What's
first
the
noticed or-
first animal or plant that you notice here, and what's special about it? So it can absolutely be like, what's the first plant or animal that Viren noticed, and what is special about it?
So the first, I'm gonna go lean into creature. The first creature that I noticed were these little sprites that they did enough so that you knew something weird is going on, but not so much that you would notice them immediately. They're very mischievous. They may misplace something small, like a cup or something like that, or like a pencil or some kind of writing mechanism or whatever.
I think we got one of those
And
in
they're
our
just-
house.
But they do just enough so that they're a nuisance.
I still think it's a multi-dimensional door, but
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
very possible.
The sprite carries the keys to the interdimensional door.
One of the alternate universes version of ourselves has figured out how to borrow our shit.
Yeah,
That's all we know.
Just take our
Oh, no.
stuff.
Does that mean that the tree that we talked about is named Newt?
Maybe.
All right, that's all of them. Okay, so here's another group natural world question that you all can decide how you want to go about answering it. What is a nearby landmark? How has it changed over the years? And what's a hidden or secret part of it?
Oh, I got something.
Take it away.
So there is a river that runs near to the town. That if you follow it out a little ways, there's a little sort of I don't know the word that I'm looking for, a fancy body of water term for a little pool of water, sort of off to the side of the big flow of river, and there's a there's a species of frogs that lay their eggs there, and they hatch, and you can see them, the tadpoles, grow if you want to go watch them. So that's the like secret special part of it. How it's changed over the years is that it's the current has lessened. The stream isn't as powerful as it was. tide has receded, as it were.
Okay. Who's next?
In this special pool, or by the land part where the pool is.
It could also be
There's
a
a special-
separate landmark. It doesn't have to be a part of this.
Oh, it can be
land.
separate?
Yeah,
It doesn't
you
need to
can,
be the same thing.
You can each come up with your own landmark.
Yeah, tell me about another place. That's my pool special place.
Is it a place that you like to go? That you and the Bumbles like to go?
Yeah, because they like to because of the way that it pools, when the current is particularly fast, it can be hard for them to get drinking water, and so it's a calm little place that they like to go for water. And when I was there with them, I discovered this little cranny area where tadpoles had hatched.
Is this in Providence or is this just in the world?
It's near Providence.
Near
Near,
Providence.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna kind of start with the town, and then let a little ripple of like what the world around the town is like as we move through this world. And I fully intend on incorporating as much of this as I can into the world map that I'm working on.
Yeah, the landmark is that the town is on the river.
Mm-hmm.
The
And that
special
there's-
place is just like if you follow the river a while, is a little bit further out, but the river runs right by the town or right through
Gotcha.
the town.
There's a bridge leading into town, I would think. At least from one side,
Mm-hmm.
one road.
Not far from town, but a little bit farther, there's a cliff. The town's not on a cliff, but it's near a cliff that sort of looks over this expanse. And Percy, in particular, likes to go sit by the cliff, looking out into the distance and just generally wondering what else is out there. Because he's seen a lot, but there's so much more to see, and the cliff is a nice reminder of how much bigger the world is. Yeah, that's what I got.
Love it.
Near the town, there is a thick forest that as years have gone by, as people have needed wood for various reasons, the forest has receded some, but seems to have grown more compact. It becomes more dense as it pulls back. And the stories say that there is some sort of magical treasure hidden deep within the woods that if you find and follow a will-o'-the-wisp, it will lead you there. But no one's yet found said treasure, and some people have gone missing in the woods looking for it.
There's big bugs in them woods.
There is big bugs in them woods.
Them are
Them
woods.
Please. In our woods.
There's a big bug in them there woods.
Got pointed teeth.
If you're able to fly and you can fly over those very dense forests, you'll notice little spots of what seem to be settlements or camps that if you're lucky, you can fly down and land, but they're not always there. They kind of appear at a whim.
Interesting. Have you ever seen one and then tried to land and it be gone by the time you got there?
Oh yeah.
So you just ate it into the trees?
Yep.
Gnarly.
Hurt a little bit.
I love that.
So, not too far out of the town, there is a valley, and in this valley is a field of flowers. Now, during the day, they look relatively normal, like any other field of flowers. But at night, under the moon, they shine like diamonds.
Hmm.
And I like to go there and contemplate.
That's lovely.
Excellent. Well, looking at the time, we're just about at our closing. Time really does fly when you're having fun, and this has been absolutely delightful. When next we meet, the party will be on the road, headed towards the next settlement. We will fast forward in time to the springtime festival. So, what your homework for this week or the next 2 weeks? And I know that's tricky because we have holidays and stuff, but you know, hopefully this is somewhat recreational for you, right? Talk about what that festival might be in the chat.
We aren't back in 2 weeks though. We're off for
Oh,
the
right, 'cause of the
holidays after
holidays.
this.
So you have longer
because
than
of
that.
the holidays.
So
Yeah.
you even have even longer than that. So we'll chat in our group chat on the Discord and figure out the exact nature of that holiday to have some ideas coming in. We will do some chatter from the road. We'll start with some questions that the characters might have for each other. I'm actually going to assign some specific questions. And we will keep filling out this world together. This has been great fun. I hope all of you have had a good time. I sure have. How's everybody?
This is the last episode of Tabletop Turntable
of
2024.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's an
made
honor
it
to be here with all of
2025.
you.
well,
the journey.
yeah, happy holidays, happy new year, depending on when you're seeing this. Stay tuned at the end for the socials. As mentioned, the Discord earlier, you can join our Discord and get in on some of this fun tabletop gameplay action. We have all kinds of opportunities to play, for you to come and run games, for you to join games, and we are constantly growing the community and finding more fun people to play with and more games to play. So yeah, be sure to hit those socials. For Anthony, Caleb, Meg, James, and Emily, every step we take and every story we share adds to the warmth of the journey we're building together. Until we meet again, may that warmth guide you and may your path always feel like home. Never stop playing. Good night.